The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hey, I'm Andy MacNeil, host of the Puck Portfolio, Canada Sports Betting's new hockey and sports betting podcast. I'm here weekdays right here on the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel and wherever you get your podcast to provide NHL projections, betting advice, and strategies to help you make informed bets throughout the NHL season. If you enjoy the content, and I know you do, please like the video and subscribe to the Canada Sports Betting YouTube channel right now. Also, if you're thinking about signing up for one of the many sports books that are available to Canadians, check out canadasportsbetting.ca to find sportsbook reviews. Link in the description below. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, lots of hockey to get to, so let's get to a schedule breakdown. If you've been here before, you know the deal. I provide a table that shows you how many days rest teams have across the league and also provides a little more context with the load column. 2 games in 2 nights suggests that a team is playing back-to-back, 3 games in 4, 4 games in 6, so on and so forth. You'll get the point as you read this thing. It's very easy to understand here. We've got the breakdown for October 27th to 28th. All the way to the 29th Sunday. And of course, we got that big game on Sunday, the Heritage Classic between the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers. We'll talk about that on this show. We'll break down Saturday's NHL betting projections and picks. Of course, we'll touch on Friday, which we got to on Thursday's show, but some updates to get to with Friday's slate coming up. Taylor Hall is still out for the Chicago Blackhawks. He's expected to stay out until early November. VGK forward Nicholas Waugh has an undisclosed injury, expected to be out until at least October 30th. Defenseman Alex Pietrangelo is also listed as day-to-day for the Vegas Golden Knights. Kane sniper Andrei Svechnikov has yet to play this season, but he's close to 100% according to the team. He's been practicing in full contact practice, and there's a chance he could be returning to the lineup on Friday, but we will wait and see. The Sharks, who the Canes are in action on Friday against, are still without Logan Couture, their captain, Alexander Barabanov, and Mikhail Granlund, who has yet to play or has only played 1 game so far this season. Capo Kakkonen will start for the Sharks. Vitek Vanacek is expected to start for the New Jersey Devils on Friday, and Marc-Andre Fleury is the expected starter for the Minnesota Wild in Washington, while Darcy Kemper is expected to get the start for the Capitals. Karel Vejmelka will start for the Coyotes, and Jordan Binnington will start for the Canucks. So let's get into Friday's projections, shall we? If you were here on Thursday, then you've got a sneak preview at these. I won't spend a whole lot of time as I did yesterday, but I went through some of those updates, and now I will let you guys know what exactly I'm betting on. As you know, yesterday I did not lock in any bets. I was waiting to see who would start for the St. Louis Blues versus the Calgary Flames. Thank you, Joel Hofer. You got us that shutout. You got the win for the Flames on the Blues as a big underdog. And then we're going back to the well on Friday. Sorry, it looks like as the Blues plus 165 underdogs at North Star Bets currently in Vancouver. We know Jordan Binnington is going to start. I'm on the Blues here. It's a smaller play at 0.55 units at plus 165, but a decent bet nonetheless. So I'm on the St. Louis Blues here once again. We still don't know who's going to start for Vancouver. They're on the first half of a back-to-back, playing the Rangers on Saturday night. Maybe they save Thatcher Demko for Igor Shesterkin and the Rangers, so that would work out in our favor. Not that Casey DeSmith is a bad goaltender by any means, but he's not on Thatcher Demko's level, so definitely watch out for that one. But I'm on the Blues regardless at plus 165 for 0.55 units, and I am also on the Minnesota Wild at plus 108. And I like them as a 1-unit play at that price. A little bit smaller as you go down. The Wild, just a small favorite according to the projection model. As mentioned, Marc-Andre Fleury is expected to start, and we've got Darcy Kemper expected to start for the Capitals. Of course, the Wild, I'm happy that they got their butts kicked last night in Philadelphia. The Flyers just pretty much ran them off the ice. It was a little bit scary there in the third period when the Wild cut the lead to 1, but Philly came back pretty quickly and put their foot right on the Wild's throat. So I don't think Minnesota is a very good team. They're definitely not an elite team. I was surprised to see some people suggest that maybe the Flyers wouldn't be able to skate with them. I mean, they just played the Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars pretty closely in the last couple of games, and now they're playing the Minnesota Wild, and you're worried about skating with the Minnesota Wild. I don't think so. It's the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights. Those are the measuring stick teams. The Minnesota Wild, they're kind of a mid team at best, and now they've got some injuries. And we learned that defenseman Jared Spurgeon, not expected to be back right away. He's been placed on long-term injured reserve. Not sure if that means he's out any longer than we originally thought he would be. Matt Boldy, he's nearing a return, I believe, but not going to be ready for this one. So those are reasons not to like the Wild here, but I think there's a lot of reasons not to like the Capitals too. And at plus 108, the Wild are good for a 1-unit play. So that's what I am on for Friday. Just a 6-game slate, and I'm happy to have a couple of underdog plays here for this slate. Specifically, the Blues. I like what the Blues are doing right now. They're kind of playing well, but just bad enough that I think they're going to fly under the radar for a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong, but the St. Louis Blues, look a little bit better than expected here. And of course, Jordan Binnington has the ability to stand on his head and has had some pretty good starts so far this season. So we'll see what happens with the St. Louis Blues and the Vancouver Canucks, the Minnesota Wild, and the Washington Capitals. But those are the two games that I'm interested in the most on Friday. But let's get into Saturday, shall we? We've got 9 games on Saturday, so a bit of a shorter slate than maybe we're used to for a Saturday. But hey, right? We've had a busy week, a busy Tuesday that kind of messed things up a little bit, and Saturday is going to be just fine. And I've got almost a handful of plays, I guess, for Saturday's slate. So let's take a look at the projections. Oh, there we go. They're up on the screen. Kept Friday's projections up there for you just in case you were still looking at those. But you can take a screenshot. You can look at these later. You don't have to get too into it. I want you to listen to me, right? I want the context to make its way to the listeners here, not just the model numbers, because there's some context. It's important, right? So, all right, we've got the Florida Panthers and the Seattle Kraken, the Anaheim Ducks and the Philadelphia Flyers. But let's talk about the Flyers and the Ducks really quick. According to my projection model, the Flyers' playoff chances, they now sit at 18%, right? That could fall apart at really quickly at any moment. But the Flyers, their playoff chances are ticking up nonetheless. They've made some decent teams look pretty bad. They've made some bad teams look really bad. And they're just playing out working teams right now, as a lot of people thought they would. But things are going well for them. Players like Noah Cates really, exceeding expectations here. That could fall apart at any minute, right? But they're getting a lot out of their players right now. So things are looking pretty good for the Flyers as we stand here. I've got the Flyers listed as a minus 171 favorite, according to the model. That presents a little bit of value here with North Star Bets currently listing the Flyers at minus 167, but not quite enough value. That would just work out to about a quarter unit play. Doesn't quite meet the threshold for what I am looking for in a money line bet. So I'm not going to play the Flyers at minus 167, but it would be Flyers or nothing. I think the Ducks have looked a little bit better than expected. Of course, they got the big win over the Boston Bruins in Boston to end the Bruins' undefeated streak to begin the season. But it's still the Ducks. They're still a team that's going to probably have a lot of trouble with a team like Philadelphia, who will undoubtedly outwork them all over the ice. So big news out of Florida. We've got the Seattle Kraken in Florida to take on the Panthers, and the Panthers forward group appears to be at full strength for the first time this season. The Panthers, they're 3-3. They're closing out their first homestand of the season against Seattle on Saturday. Center Sam Bennett practiced with the main group on Thursday for the first time since sustaining the lower body injury in the preseason that has kept him out for the first 6 games of the regular season. Alexander Barkov, of course, the Panthers are, he's the guy on the Panthers when it comes to play on both sides of the puck. That two-way game really important to the Panthers. He was not on the ice Thursday, but he is on the ice on Friday. He sat out Thursday's 3-1 win over the San Jose Sharks with an illness, but the anticipation is that he will be back in the lineup on Saturday as the Panthers close out this homestand. The model has the Panthers at minus 140, so no value on this game either way right now, but it'll be interesting. You just don't count Barkov in for sure until the team confirms that he will be in the lineup, but it certainly looks like he will be. Next up, a game I've got some interest in, and a lot of people are going to be surprised. Maybe not. I've been betting on the Red Wings a little bit here. I'm a Bruins fan, right? But, screw the Bruins. Plus 185 on the Red Wings. Used to be a Bruins fan. I'm now a Red Wings for at least one more game. Red Wings fan, sorry. And they might be playing over their heads right now. I get it. And they might be a one-line team. Yeah, okay. But one-line team or not, plus 185, too big of a price according to the model. Red Wings defenseman Jeff Petrie is day-to-day with an upper body injury. Hopefully the Red Wings do not let me down again, but 0.68 units at plus 185. That is the play on the Red Wings. Like I've said all along, we haven't figured out too much about this Boston Bruins team. They've had the easiest schedule in the NHL. Detroit, like I said, playing over their heads, but they're going to be up for this game, right? This is a big game. They've lost 2 in a row, and I expect the Red Wings to really be up for this game. So hopefully we get their best and maybe get Boston's worst, but I doubt that'll happen. So Red Wings plus 185, a 0.68 unit play. That's the exact price that the model tells me, or that's the exact risk stake amount that the model tells me to put down on this one. So that's what I'm going to do. Seems pretty reasonable here considering what we've seen out of these two teams. New York Islanders at Columbus Blue Jackets. It's hard to want to bet on Columbus without Patrick Laine unless the odds are really low, and they're not low enough here, right? The Islanders, they don't look good. New York currently sits 26th in expected goals according to Evolving Hockey. That's at 5-on-5, and also at 5-on-5, they're 28th in shot attempt percentage, Corsi for percentage. Not very good, right? In their current form, I think you're betting on Ilya Sorokin to steal the game, right? You're essentially betting on whether you think Ilya Sorokin will win the game for them or not, because they're not really helping him out or Semyon Varlamov out for all that much for that matter. I don't have a whole lot of interest here. The model has the Blue Jackets as a plus 142 underdog. However, I am a little bit intrigued here with the Winnipeg Jets in Montreal. Now, the Jets looked really good in Detroit on Thursday. This is Hockey Night in Canada, right? Normally, I would expect Laurent Brossoit to get the next start. Connor Hellebuck just got a big win in front of his hometown crowd in Detroit. He is from Michigan, so maybe he was out celebrating with some family members and whatnot after the game. Maybe he's going to get Saturday off. That might still happen, but the fact that it is Saturday night in Montreal, I could see the Jets going back to Hellebuck. He is a big game player, and even though the Canadians aren't a high-profile team, it's Saturday night in Montreal, Hockey Night in Canada. It's a big game, so we'll see what happens there, but right now with Laurent Brossoit projected to be the starter, I have the Jets priced at minus 122, so there would be a pretty steep move if it is Connor Hellebuck, but I'm projecting Laurent Brossoit right now. Follow me on Twitter. I will let you guys know if there's a change at Digital Gambler, and I'll update my projection model and let you guys know what the final result is once we know who the starting goaltender is for this one. Another bet that I've got on Saturday, and this is going to surprise some people. I don't think I've bet against the Maple Leafs yet this season, but I am on Saturday. Look, Nashville, they currently lead the league in expected goals at 5-on-5 at 58.7%. That's great, but let's be real. This team doesn't have a hope in hell when it comes to living up to those expectations, right? Don't expect the Predators to dominate teams and score 55+% of the goals. It just it's not going to happen, right? But they do have enough talent here, especially in goal with UC Saros, to outscore teams, and it's going to be tough to outscore the Maple Leafs. But the projection model with the Predators as the home team thinks that they should be only priced around plus 131, so at plus 140. That's a bet that I can make, a half unit bet, 0.53 units on the Nashville Predators to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. I would expect Ilya Samsonov to get the start here. You never know; it might be Joseph Wall, who the model likes a lot more after another big win over the Dallas Stars. But I'm expecting it to be Ilya Samsonov. Hopefully, it is. He hasn't played well this season. Hopefully, we get UC Saros, which I can't see why we wouldn't. But yeah, it's the Preds for me at plus 140, 0.53 unit play. And I've got another bet here, one that I'm not, maybe not a fan of given how things have been going for this team, but the Ottawa Senators, they're at the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I mean, I think people look at the Penguins and expect more, but I'm not really expecting much. I do think they're playing up to their standards. Sometimes they're going to look really good and surprise everyone, like on Thursday when they shut out the Colorado Avalanche. I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card, right? But most nights I think they're going to look pretty mediocre compared to what you would expect them to be, given all the talent, the name brand talent on that team, and the goaltending, mediocre, poor defensive scheme doesn't help, right? So the Senators plus 115 according to the model. North Star Bets has the Senators at plus 128. So roughly a 1 unit play, 0.98 units on the Senators at plus 128. That'll be my last bet for Saturday as of right now, but stick around. I've got a couple more games to talk about. The New York Rangers, they're in Vancouver, and Jonathan Quick. Yeah, I did not buy off of my Rangers minus 105 bet from Wednesday heading into Thursday. We found out Jonathan Quick was going to start right before the game, leading up to the game, during warm-ups. It wasn't going to be Igor Shesterkin. Down goes the Rangers line, up goes the Oilers odds, right? Everybody bought out, jumped on the Oilers. Probably the smart thing to do, but I felt obligated because I had touted the Rangers so hard as being my best bet that I had to suffer with you guys, and we didn't suffer. Quickie made the saves, man, 3-0, and it was really good to see that. So hopefully that doesn't necessarily happen to me again. I don't want that to happen to me again, but it was a good result, right? We got 2 shutouts to end Thursday night. The Blues shutting out the Flames. Man, what a poor spot for the Calgary Flames, right? So the Blues shutting out the Flames, and of course the Rangers shutting out the Edmonton Oilers. Great way to end Thursday night and put a bow on a profitable night for the puck portfolio, right? Good times. And we got the Vegas Golden Knights at the LA Kings. This is the second game in 2 nights for both the Kings and the Golden Knights. So it's kind of one of those things where you'll have to wait and find out who's playing in goal for each team on Friday, and that'll kind of dictate where things go on Saturday. But hey, if you're interested, once again, reach out on Twitter at Digital Gambler. If you check out my feed from yesterday, you'll see somebody reached out and asked about the Dallas goaltending change. Originally, I had Jake Ottinger projected in goal to face off against the Maple Leafs. They decided to go with Scott Wedgwood, and obviously that was a big difference. So somebody asked me, hey, what's the change? Was your projection with Wedgwood or Ottinger? And of course, it was with Ottinger, but I updated things and I let that person know on Twitter. So I would much rather you reach out to me, ask me a question on Twitter, DM me. My DMs are open if you don't feel like asking publicly or whatever. But yeah, just anytime if I'm around, which I try to be, I will answer your question and provide any insight that I can into how things have changed, right? Like betting, there's a lot of it's a lot about timing, right? And you might not be able to get everything into a short show weekdays, and there's a lot of other moving parts throughout the day. So feel free to reach out. I'm not going to bite your head off. I'm going to be more than happy to help you out and help you make a good decision. Your decision, though, right? Make your own decision at the end of the day. I'm just trying to help you win the race. Hopefully you will. And I do not mind anybody reaching out. So we got a little bit of a preview for Sunday. I'm not going to get too much into Sunday's games because it's sports books don't. It's already a stretch to be looking ahead as far as I do, right? It's hard to get. You've got to really look around, like North Star Bets, the book that I'm talking about today. They've got early NHL lines up, but not every sports book has early NHL lines up. So definitely find a sports book like North Star Bets that has early NHL lines up if you want to get down on these bets. It's the most value that I can provide is to get ahead of all of this stuff, and we'll talk about more about why that is someday. But yeah, so 4 games on Sunday, and the one I really want to zoom in on here is the Heritage Classic. Of course, the Calgary Flames at the Edmonton Oilers. I mistakenly forgot to pull up the data from past outdoor games, but look, I can tell you off the top of my head that there is, if there is a home ice advantage, it is very small. And I don't really think there is a home ice advantage between the distractions, the change in venue, all of the uncertainty, the unfamiliarity. It's not like the Oilers are playing on a frozen pond on Commonwealth field every other week, right? This is going to be new for them. And it's going to be new for the Flames. It's going to be a real mix-up, and it should be a great game. I can't wait. I'm going to get to go and see what happens. Hopefully McDavid will appear, come out of the tunnel like like the biggest return at the Royal Rumble kind of thing, right? Man, that would send the non-existent roof off of Commonwealth Stadium. But yeah, so the Oilers right now -107 favorite in the Heritage Classic. They were up around -160. Like I said, no home ice advantage, but that's the perceived gap between them and the Flames. And if Connor McDavid's back in, that's where the line goes. So some sports books starting to put some lines up there for the Heritage Classic. So keep an eye out, because if McDavid plays, you gotta get down on the Oilers. As bad as they've looked, he is a difference maker. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. And if you think the Oilers with McDavid in the lineup should be a pick 'em against the Flames in any venue, I don't care if they're playing in my backyard. I'm going to bet on the Oilers at -107 or anywhere around that number. But we'll have probably some Heritage Classic content for you this weekend for sure. I know my man Jeff Follett will have something up on Sunday or ahead of the game at some point. But hopefully we'll do something here on the Puck Portfolio with the Heritage Classic being in Edmonton, my hometown, or at least the place where I reside, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I want to cover that for sure. But look out for that Heritage Classic line. -107 projection for the Oilers right now. And it could obviously change upwards 50 cents in the other direction if McDavid is back in the lineup. That's how much he means to the betting line. That's it for me today. Going to quickly run through the bets for Friday and Saturday. Of course, I'm on the Wild, 1 unit play. I'm on the Blues, +165. That's a 0.55 unit play. The Detroit Red Wings, +185 over the Boston Bruins. Oh, it's going to be a tough one, but hey, 0.68 units, not a huge bet. I'm taking a gamble on the Red Wings, who I think should be closer to +168 on the money line. And then the Nashville Predators, hoping they can get the job done against the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's going to be a fun one, I think. The Preds have looked really good so far. I wouldn't say it's a smash spot, but the Preds are a decent bet at +140, 0.53 units. And then finally, it's one of the bigger plays that I've got. The Ottawa Senators +128, roughly 1 unit, 0.98 unit bet on the Sens to beat the Penguins at +128. Go Sens go. They got to get back in the win column. Maybe a bit of a letdown spot for the Pittsburgh Penguins after that big win. Maybe Sidney Crosby and Nate McKinnon, tied one on after the game, and that'll slow them down a little bit. Who knows? But yeah, the Sens +128 over the Penguins. That's a 1 unit play. And that's it for me, at least for right now. I like I said, I'll let you guys know on Twitter at Digital Gambler if things change. So thank you very much for joining me again. If you have not already, subscribed to the channel and like this video. It helps out a ton. I will see you guys maybe throughout the weekend. Who knows? Keep me in mind with that Heritage Classic coming up. But if not, on Monday, I will see you for a new episode of the Puck Portfolio. Thanks for joining me.